How's it going, guys? Mike Murtis, Gamer Logic here, and today's video is actually a video response to Happy Console Gamer's weird Nintendo story. You know, I watched the video this morning and it brought back a unpleasant memory for me. And I'm sure that's not what Johnny's intent was when he did this video, but he had an unpleasant experience happen to him, and you can watch his video to find out what his experience was exactly. But I watched it, got to the end of the video, and went, man, the same thing happened to me. Something very similar happened to me in 7th grade at my junior high school. Now, this was like probably mid-90s, so this is when I was in my real thick PC gaming side of things. This is probably like 93, 94 maybe. So I'm really deep into PC gaming. Don't really have anyone in my school to relate to because they're not really allowed to play video games. Again, this is a private Christian school. Not many of the parents were too keen on letting their kids play console games, let alone a platform that had stuff like Doom and Heretic and all this other stuff. There was one kid, though. He didn't really go to our school. He was only there for our gym classes and our music classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He was homeschooled. So, you know, after talking to him a bit and just conversing with him through the weeks and stuff, I found out that he was finally allowed to get an NES after a while, and he eventually moved on to PC gaming. So we had a lot of similar conversations, we had a lot of similar interests, so we struck up a pretty good friendship. At least I thought we did over the few years that we were friends. So the magazine of choice back then, if you were a PC gamer, was literally PC Gamer. And these were really cool magazines because they came with a CD-ROM full of different video game demos on them. And this was like the best way to get your demos and the best way to get some exclusive demos, because back then we didn't have broadband internet, right? So we weren't able to download even, hell, 50 meg stuff easily. It would have took forever on our old school 28.8K modem connections. So at some point, junior high school, like I said, I think it was 7th grade, my friend calls me up and he was like, hey, I just went over to a friend's house I haven't seen in a long time, and they just let me borrow a ton of back issues of PC Gamer and all of these PC Gamer demo CDs, a ton of them, even the pre-CD-ROM ones, the floppy disk ones. I'm going to bring a whole bunch to school since there's so many to go through. And you can borrow them for a week, and then, you know, the following week you can give them back, and then I'll give you the rest of them that I got, and we can kind of switch from there. And then eventually I got to give them back because these guys really love this stuff, but you know, they're cool with letting me borrow it. So I was like, all right, that's awesome. So a Tuesday came up and gym class came up, and he gave me the stuff. He gave me a few of the magazines, a few of the demo CDs. I was pumped. My whole week was going to rock now after school because I was going to be trying out all these different PC demos, right? So he asked if I can put his jacket in my locker because he didn't have his own locker. I put it in there and lock the locker up. We have gym class, we have music class. Class is over. I gotta get back to my normal classes. He's leaving, so I put in my combination, open up the locker, and I give him his jacket, say goodbye to him, thank him for the CDs, and lock my locker. So 2:45 hits, end of the school day. I open my locker up, excited. I can't find those CDs. I can't find those magazines. They're gone. They're gone. And I can't figure out like what happened. Did I not put them in the locker? Did he maybe take them when he grabbed the jacket? Because I was talking to a few people. I had no idea. I was absolutely mortified, and I was looking in the other kids' lockers that were next to me because I thought, well, maybe somehow I brain farted and put them in somebody else's locker. I couldn't just get over what happened to these things. The only thing I had in my head was that when I gave him his jacket, maybe the jacket was wrapped around some stuff, or when he grabbed his jacket, he grabbed him by accident. But why would he do that? That doesn't make any sense, right? So I'm bummed out because I don't have the CDs and stuff, but I'm just happy to know, okay, he has to have them. He has to have them. So my mom picks me up from school, and I come home. I call him up. And I said, you know, hey man, why did you take all the PC Gamer demos and magazines that you left me? And he went, what are you talking about? I said, you know, you gave me the stuff. I know it was there, and when I came in my locker at the end of the day, it was gone. It wasn't there. You grabbed it, right? No, I didn't grab it at all. Now he starts getting mad at me and everything, and I'm like, dude, you know, no one would have stole that stuff. There's no one at school that would be even remotely interested in taking that stuff. I don't get what happened. You know, did the principal do a locker check or something and saw like PC Gamer magazine? I thought it was smart. I had all this stuff going through my head, and he's getting mad at me. He's like, "Oh man, you're gonna have to replace all those issues, and you know they're like $9.95 an issue, and some of them are sold out. Now my friends are gonna be really angry at me. They're never gonna let me borrow any of this stuff ever again." And I'm apologizing to him like crazy. I just don't get what happened. So I apologize, and I'm pretty upset. And I hang up the phone and I tell my mom what's going on. And she's like, Michael, I know he's your friend and everything, but I don't trust that kid. I don't trust that kid one bit. There's just something about that kid that just doesn't sit right with me. Well, I couldn't put it through my head that, you know, someone would do something like that, you know, take stuff and then, you know, say they didn't take it. So, you know, that was in the back of my mind. I'm pretty upset though. So the phone rings, and I'm thinking it's him saying, oh, I found them or something, and it's not. It's one of the girls in the next grade above me, Emily, and she was like, hey, you know, I know we don't talk too often, but I had to go down to the principal's office to go grab something, and as I was coming up and going through the gym, all our locker rooms or classrooms were actually in a gym. Totally different story. She said, I saw your friend in your locker. You know, did you give him your combination, and did you let him borrow some stuff? Because he had a stack of things in his hand. I said, what time was this? And she was like, oh, I was late to class, so this was well after we all got to class. And I was like, did it look like little CD folders, like it would hold a CD? Did it say anything on there? She said it said PC something on there. And I thought, you son of a bitch, you lied to me. I got you dead to rights. You lied to me. Someone saw you after the fact take it in there. But how did he get in my locker? So now I'm pissed. I'm livid. I call him up. And I said, so you got all your CDs back, right? And he went, no, are you stupid? We have already had this conversation, and you lost those CDs you're going to pick up. I said, no. You know as well as I do that Emily saw you by my locker with the locker open, and she saw you walk out of the school with that stuff, all the PC Gamer CDs. One, I'm angry at you because you threw me under the bus essentially and lied to me and said that you know, I lost these or someone stole them, and you're acting like it doesn't happen. And two, how did you break into my locker? Well, little did I know that when he asked to put his coat in my locker and get the coat out, that he was checking out what combination I was putting into my locker, and he took a mental note of it. And when we all went back to class and he was waiting for his mom, he took that opportune moment to open up my locker and take that stuff back. And that really bothered me. It really bothered me, one, that he basically broke into my locker, and two, that he outright lied to me. So I was yelling at him on the phone, man. I was swearing at him. I was saying, I can't believe you would do this to me. And, you know, we're never going to talk again. I'm never ever going to talk to you again. And I hung up the phone. I slammed the phone. And my mom came up to me and she said, what happened? And I said, Mom, he broke into my locker. He broke into my locker, and he took those CDs and everything out of there. And she said, really? So she tries to call his mom. He has caller ID, so he's not answering the phone because he knows at this point he's probably in a load of trouble. So my mom said, okay. She said, Michael, I know he's your friend, but he basically broke into your locker and committed a crime. So you have two choices here. Either you can let it go and, you know, not do anything about it, or two, you can call the principal and you can say that he broke into your locker and that he took some stuff that, even though it was his, was borrowed to you, but the main thing is he broke in your locker and literally lied to you about where this stuff went and made you feel terrible. And without even a second to mull it over, I said, let's call the principal. So my mom called up and put it on speakerphone, and I said exactly what happened. And he was suspended for 2 weeks. So he missed 4 days of gym and 4 days of music. Yeah, it was a big deal to his parents that this happened, because the principal obviously got a hold of his mom and dad and said exactly what happened. And I was upset. I was still upset even at that point. I couldn't believe that somebody that you thought was your friend, or at least pretty close to being your friend, could do something to you like that. And for whatever reason, you know, the stuff like that doesn't make sense. It was just a good example of someone that can be a real shitty human being, plain and simple. And we kind of made up, me and my buddy, after that. But I didn't trust him. I didn't trust him at all. I definitely distanced myself from him at that point, which was good, because as the months went by and the years went by, he was continually doing more terrible things. He was getting in trouble with the cops. He was drinking at school and other places at this point. So it was a real good realization of life for me that you can't trust everybody. And when people do stuff like that, it's probably best just to stay away from them. So kind of a depressing story, kind of like Johnny alluded to with his. But yeah, I watched his video this morning and it just totally blew me away that someone could go into your own private property after they've borrowed you something, take it and say, I don't have it, you lost it, you stole it. Just a real shitty thing to do. So I feel you, Johnny. So that is my video response, and thanks for watching.